In nature, which of the following organism is or are most likely to be found alive on the soil-less surface? Here they are talking about soil-less surface. When we are talking about soil-less surface, either they are talking about rocks or in an area where is no soil. Okay, so basically you can say that they are talking about primary succession. Okay, if you have not read successions, primary and secondary successions, please go and revise your notes, static. So that is important because this is important. So coming to the coming to the organisms which are given here: ferns, lichens, mosses, and mushrooms. So basically, when we are talking about those organisms which can live on rock, so here lichens and mosses are the organisms which can live on rock without any soil. Okay, so option C would be the right answer. That says lichen and mosses are such organisms. Okay, let's see the explanation here. When we are talking about this picture here, you can see these are basically your lichens. Okay, so when we are talking about lichens, they are actually available on the rocks. Here you can see these white portion over here which we are looking here. These are basically some kind of layers which are happening on the formation forming on the rock surface itself. Okay, so these are lichens, and when we are talking about this green appearance on the rocks, okay, so these most of the time these you can see these lichens and the mosses are basically go side by side here. So these are mosses. Okay, they will have green appearance, and then when we are talking about this particular plant over here, these are ferns. Okay, ferns require soil. Ferns or mushroom, all these particular organisms, they require soil. Okay, so they will have a nearly a leaf-like structure. So we can say that these are ferns and mushrooms, etc. They will require soil. Okay, and lichens and mosses do not require soil. They can live on the rocky surface. Okay, they can grow on the rocks. Thus, they are likely to be found alive on the soil-less surfaces. Okay, now these are basically organisms which help in decomposition of the rock, or you can say disintegration of the rock. Okay, these layers, white layers, when they will be removed from them, or by the natural process get removed from them, they will take certain part of those rocks. So ultimately they will form the soil. Okay, so that can give the you can say surface for the next type of plants to grow in. Okay, now moving to the next question, that is question number 2. Regarding mangrove sites, which of the following statements are appropriate? A, or first statement is mangrove plant requires suitable mixture of saline and fresh water. They are talking about the mixture. Then second statement is mangrove plants require mud ground for growth and development. Third is mangrove plants found in the intertidal areas of the protected sheltered coast. Mangrove vegetation is reported in all coastal states, including Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Select the correct answer using the given code below. Okay, so you have to choose the given code. Now, when we are talking about mangrove plants, so basically they grow in you can say saline or brackish environment. Okay, so this is not necessary that it will require a mixture of fresh and saline water. They can only survive in the saline water as well. Okay, so that is why this statement becomes incorrect. Okay, now mangrove plants require mud ground for the growth of the development. We have seen that most of the time these mangroves are around the coastal areas or in the area where there is a water availability. So there are muddy grounds available. Then mangrove plants are found in the intertidal areas of the protected shelter. This is correct. And when we are talking about the mangrove vegetation, it is found in all coastal states, including Andaman and Nicobar. So this statement is also correct. We can say that 2, 3, and 4 is your correct answer. Moving to the explanation part, here you can see option B is your right answer. Okay, so when we are talking about mangroves, there are certain conditions, or you can say that these mangroves are basically salt tolerant plants. That is why we call them halophytes. Okay, these are called halophytes. So that is important for you. They grow in coastal or saline or brackish water. As I told you, they can survive in saline or brackish water. So they have tolerance towards the salt. Okay, for that they have specific kind of roots. Okay, so these complex root system will be there, which will infiltrate the you can say salt out of it. Okay. And when we are talking about the oxygen requirement, okay, so we can say that these plants can survive in low oxygen zones as well. Okay, so mangroves are generally trees that are grown on the coast, estuaries, tidal creeks, backwaters, lagoon, mud deposit of tropical and subtropical regions. So that is given. And when we are talking about India, they are found in all coastal states. Okay, so please go through this particular diagram. That can be very helpful for you. Now moving to the next question, that is question number 3. Which of the following are necessary conditions for growth of coral reefs? Okay, so coral reefs, you know that they are kind of very sensitive in nature. Okay, and they are indicator of the environment they are living in. Okay, so now there are certain conditions which are given, and we have to choose which are necessary conditions for coral reef to survive. Okay, now first is lightning condition. Second is clean and sediment free water. Third is 60% salinity. Fourth is tropical sea waters whose temperature ranges between 23 to 29 degrees Celsius. Now you have to choose the correct answer. Now when we are talking about these first two statements, that is your lightning condition and the clean sediment free water, so obviously they require appropriate amount of, you can say, light to go for their food requirements. There is this algae that is called zooxanthellae. Okay, so this algae is basically in the symbiotic relations with the coral reefs. So basically this algae forms food for them. And when we are talking about this algae, it uses photosynthesis to form this food. So ultimately we need light for the photosynthesis, so that is fine. Then clean and sediment free water. Obviously if first is right, second has to be right, because to have better lightning condition, you should have a clean and sediment free water. Okay, so these two are correct. Now coming to the third, 60% salinity. No, this salinity requirement is little bit different. That is 32 to 42 ppb. Okay, so you cannot say that it is 60%, so you can say this is 32 to 42%. Okay, so this is incorrect. Now tropical seawater shows temperature range from 23 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, so this statement is correct. So you can say 1, 2 and 4 is your right answer, that is option A. Okay, here you can see option A is your right answer. Now when we are talking about these corals, there are certain necessary conditions which are given here. You can see 32 to 42% ppt, or you can say this percent salinity should be required over there. Then moderate water motion. Okay, water motion should not be very high because these coral needs a stability. Then clear water, as I told you, zooxanthellae needs sunlight to form food. Okay, then temperature range between 23 degrees to 29 degrees Celsius, and these are found between 25 north to 25 south latitudes. So basically you can say these are tropical in nature, tropical and subtropical areas. Okay, and when we are talking about this coral bleaching, you can see here that there is this coral reef, and these small dots which you are seeing over here, these small dots inside this reef, these are basically your algae, that is zooxanthellae. Okay, so basically what is happening is that these algae is basically sitting on these coral reefs. They find habitat, or a place to live over there, and these corals are basically supported by these algae. They impart color to the corals. Okay, so when there is this for some reasons these conditions are not fulfilled, or you can say if there is ocean acidification, or the temperature of that particular sea surface is rising, because of which these zooxanthellae will start getting removed from that particular corals. Okay, here you can see these dots are coming out of these corals. So basically this is an indication that zooxanthellae are leaving the corals. Okay, so ultimately when all of these algae leaves the corals, it will give you a very blatant picture, or you can say colorless picture. So basically that is what we call coral bleaching. Okay, corals, a healthy coral is a beautiful thing to look at, but when we are talking about this coral bleaching, they will lose their color itself. Okay, because these algae, that is zooxanthellae, will get removed out of it. Okay, so please remember the name of the algae, that is zooxanthellae, and how it is what is coral bleaching and how it happens, that you can remember. Okay, now coming to the next question, consider the following statement. Most of the world's coral reefs are found in tropical ocean waters. More than 1/3 of the coral reefs are located in the territories of Australia, Indonesia and Philippines. Coral reefs support a much larger number of animals than tropical rainforest. You have to choose the correct statement. When we are talking about this oceanic tropical waters, as I told you, that's 25 degrees south to 25 degrees north, so obviously they are in the tropical waters, so this statement is correct. Then more than 1/3 of the world's coral reef are located in the territories of Australia, Indonesia and Philippines. I'll let you know about it in the further slides. So but this statement is correct. I'll show you the expanse of the corals. And then when we are talking about the number of animal group which are living on the corals is more than the tropical rainforest. So basically they are talking about number here. Okay, and since these algae are basically very small in size, so they can live there with a very large number. Okay, so basically this statement is also correct. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3 would be the right answer. Here you can see this is basically the area. As I told you, this is your 25 north to 25 south, and here you can see that most of the corals are found in this particular area. And when we are talking about this expanse, or you can say 1/3 of the corals in the area of Australia, Indonesia, so here you can see that this statement is correct, because nearly 30% are found in East Asia and nearly 16% are found in this particular area, and some of part of Pacific corals are also present over here. Okay, so all the statements are correct. Now, next question number 5. Consider the following statements. According to Ramsar Convention, it is mandatory for Government of India to protect and conserve all the wetlands in its territory. Okay. Statement 2 is Wetland Conservation and the Management Rules 2010 were made by Government of India on the basis of recommendation of Ramsar Convention. Statement 3. Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2010 also includes the drainage area or catchment area of the wetlands determined by the authority. Now you have to choose the correct statements. Now when we are talking about this particular statement 1, here they have said that it is the responsibility of the government to conserve and protect all the wetlands, but that is not the case, because under the Ramsar Convention there are certain wetlands which has been identified. Okay, under the Montreal Record we have a list. Okay, that is we called it Ramsar list or Ramsar site list. So basically these are you can say obligation on the government to protect and conserve. So basically that not all of the wetlands are protected in the Ramsar Convention. So this is incorrect. When we are talking about the rules which were made in 2010, that is wetland conservation and the management rules, yes, these rules are based on the Ramsar Convention. So this, we can say that this statement is correct. And then they also include drainage area and the catchment area of the wetland as determined by the authority. Yes, that is also true. Okay, so 2 and 3 is your right answer, option B. Here you can see, to protect and preserve wetlands around the world, there is a list that is called Ramsar list. After identifying the wetlands of the international importance, these are given some special attention for their conservation. Okay, and especially we will give priority to the water flowing and natural habitat for the animals. Those wetland area which are water flowing, they are having water which is flowing, and then natural habitat for birds and animals, and they have potential for the biodiversity. Okay, so there are certain here you can see there is this water conservation. Then when we are talking about this biodiversity conservation, okay, and the habitat conservation for the animal and the birds. Okay, now wetlands rules has been formed as per the recommendation of the Ramsar Convention. As I told you, these drainage area and the catchment areas are also included. Here you can see there is this infographics given here wherein you can talk about this particular thing. As I told you, Montreal Record is the list of these protected Ramsar sites. So you can say this is Ramsar list. Okay, and it was adopted in 1990. Okay, when we are talking about this Ramsar Convention, it was signed, or you can say adopted in 1971, and it has come into force in 1975. When we are talking about India, India joined, or in India it came in force in 1982. There are 80 sites right now, which is given 70. So basically you can say 75 earlier and 5 recently they were added. So there are nearly 80 80 sites now. Okay, and when we are talking about certain key facts, you can say that the Sundarbans in the West Bengal are the largest Ramsar site. When we are talking about smallest, that is Vembanad wetland, that is in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and when we are talking about the maximum number of Ramsar sites, that is in Tamil Nadu, and that is now 16 and not 14. Please remember that this is not 14 and 16 now, because recently 2 has been added. Okay, so here you can see India has increased its tally of Ramsar sites to 80 from the 75. There are 5 sites, 3 from the Karnataka, that is Ankasamudra Bird Conservation Reserve and Agnashini Estuary and Magadi Keri Conservation Reserve. These are in Karnataka, so please remember that. And then Keraivati Bird Sanctuary and the Longwood Solar Reserve Forest are in Tamil Nadu. So here you can remember these 5 names, which is kind of very important for you. Tamil Nadu continues to have the maximum number of Ramsar sites, that is 16 sites. As I told you earlier, there was 14 and 2 has been added by these 2 names. Okay, now moving to the next question. For your information and for your knowledge, I have given these Ramsar sites. There are 75 Ramsar sites, and please mark the other 5 also for your reference. Okay. Now, the next question is, consider the following ecosystem: mountain ecosystem, island ecosystem, mangrove forest ecosystem, coral reef ecosystem, and which of the above are example of the fragile ecosystem? There are, so basically, there are certain ecosystems which are, very less sensitive to the changes in the environment. Okay, they can survive certain conditions. Okay, but when we are talking about certain other which are quite sensitive to the change in the environment, if there is any change in the environment, the ecosystem will also change. You can say that particular, species of that ecosystem or the plants or the animals, they will also show some kind of changes. Okay, so ultimately, they are talking about such fragile ecosystems. If there is a change in the environment and they respond to the change, such ecosystems are called fragile ecosystems. So basically, when we are talking about this coral reef ecosystem, I just told you, if the temperature is rising, then these algae will get removed from that particular reef, and it will lead to the coral bleaching. So we can say that coral reefs are basically one of such ecosystem. Mangrove forest, as I told you, they are also found in the coastal areas, in the areas where there is a particular type of salinity available. Okay, so basically, these are also you can say fragile ecosystem. Island ecosystems, we provide special attention to Andaman and Nicobar, etc., Lakshadweep, etc., because there are island ecosystems and they are also fragile in nature. Okay, so there is one left, that is 1. So when we are having a look at this particular option, you can say 1, 2, and 3, or 4. All of them are correct. So all of them are basically your fragile ecosystems. Okay, here you can see some ecosystems can withstand a wide variation in the climate conditions and effect of land use, while others are sensitive to any environment change. Effect of small change in rainfall patterns or ambient temperatures often cause significant damage. Such basically ecosystems are called fragile ecosystems. Okay. So question number 7, you can see here, ecosystem services are processed by which of the environment produces useful benefit for the humans. So basically, they are talking about the ecosystem services. Okay, so ecosystem services are the processes by which the environment produces useful benefit to the humans. Okay, which of the following are the ecosystem services? Pollination of crops, provision of clean water and air, mitigation of environmental hazard, and carbon sequestration. So basically, these are all services which are provided by the environment. When we are talking about the pollination of crops, there are certain processes like there is honeybee which is sitting on a particular flower, and then they are sitting on another flower that will lead to the pollination. So that is a service which is given by the ecosystem. Okay, so that is ecosystem service. Then provision of the clean water and air. You know that if biological oxygen demand of a particular water body is fulfilled, then this water body can clean itself. Okay, so similar is the case with the air. So basically, we can say that is also a service which is provided by the environment itself. Mitigation of the environmental hazards. Okay, and then carbon sequestration. Okay, capturing, or you can say carbon capturing, that is also provided by the ecosystem or the environment. So we can say that these are all correct over here. Okay, to get into details here, you can say that human beings benefit from the ecology in various ways. These benefits are collectively called ecosystem services. When we are talking about these support services, so there are basically certain supports which has been provided by the environment. That is, you can say there are nutrient cycles, there are water cycles. All these things are basically support systems which are provided by the environment. Then when we are talking about the provisioning services, these provisioning services can be some kind of a product which is given by environment to you, or let's say you can say there is wood, there is food, there is fruits, vegetables. These are things which are given by the environment to you, that is water, food, air, etc. So that are basically your provisioning services. Regulatory services, so as I told you, these water bodies and air, they have this self-regulating or self-cleansing properties. Okay, so these services are also called regulatory services. They maintain the balance in the environment. Okay, and then cultural services, these cultural services are basically nothing but certain services which are provided by environment to tribes, etc. And there is some services which are related to tourism. Okay, and you can say some recreational activities which are provided by the ecosystem or environment. These are cultural services. Okay, so examples are given, so you can go through it. Okay, now moving further, next question. Floating treatment wetland FTW was inaugurated at Neknampur Lake in Hyderabad on the occasion of World Wetlands Day, 2nd Feb. Please remember this particular fact. In this context, consider the following statements. Floating treatment wetland is based on soil-less hydroponic technology, which we will see in the coming slides. It will help in cleaning the lake by absorbing excess nitrates and nutrients like oxygen present in the water. And third is, Tulsi and Ashwagandha plants have been planted as a cleaning agent in the floating treatment wetland plant. Okay, so you have to choose the correct statements. Okay, when we are talking about this floating treatment wetland plant, this uses a technology that is soil-less hydroponic technology. Here you can see this is the picture of Neknampur plant. The objective behind is that this particular lake or water body is polluted, and now they are trying to revive it by removing the excess nutrients by this particular technology. A plant requires certain nutrients for the growth. Okay, so they have used certain kind of plants which can extract certain type of nutrition. Okay, so basically they have gone for a framework which we will discuss. But what is happening behind this is that these are plants which are having their roots in the water, and this water is having nutrient solution, because obviously when there is a water body, here you can see there are various nutrients, or you can say excess nutrients present over here. So these roots are basically taking these nutrients out of it, and they are using it for their own growth. Okay, and when we are talking about this particular air stone which is providing oxygen, okay, so basically in the hydroponics technology there is no soil. Okay, they are using nutrients from the water and air from the air stone. Okay, so basically in hydroponics technology, what happens is that whatever function which soil provides is being provided by this nutrient solution. Okay, so function of the soil is to provide water and nutrients to the plant, okay, which is being done by these nutrient solution and the air stone. Okay, so basically this is the hydroponics technology which has been used in this basically Vietnampur lake, wherein they have made these frameworks over here. These are wooden bamboo floating in water, and then they have been divided into cubicles using styrofoam, and then they have put some pebbles etc. to support this particular plant, and now their roots are inside this water, and these roots are basically taking nutrients from this particular water body. Okay, so ultimately it will lead to the cleansing of this water body. Here you can see the cleaning agent plants planted at the FWB include that khas, kanna, katil, reed, citronella, okay, and these are certain other plants like fountain grass, herbs, tulsi, ashwagandha, they have been used. Okay, and some of the plants on this FTW has been helping in the cleansing of the river by absorbing the excess nutrients like nitrates and the oxygen present in the water. So obviously which we have discussed, and now here you can see that this statement is correct because it is based on the soil less hydroponic technology, and they have used, or they are using this technology to absorb excess nitrates and the oxygen present in the water. This is also correct. And then tulsi and ashwagandha plants have been planted as a cleaning agent, which we have seen. So this is also correct. So we can say that 1, 2, and 3 is correct. Option B is your right. Now question number 9. Which of the following international organizations are partners of Ramsar Convention? Okay, so here we have BirdLife International, World Wildlife Forum for Nature, Fund for Nature, and Global Tiger Forum, Coalition Against the Wildlife Trafficking. Okay, so these are certain options given. You have to choose the correct answer. Now, when we are talking about this Ramsar Convention, we know that there is a convention which is talking about wetland conservation. Okay, so wetland are certain wherein we can say that there are habitat for the birds as well. Okay, so we can say that the BirdLife International can be a part of it, and then when we are talking about the World Wide Fund for Nature, that can also be a part of it, because that is also talking about conservation. Okay, but when we are talking about tigers, okay, so wetland does not have anything to do with the tiger, so that is incorrect. And this Ramsar Convention does not talk about anything about wildlife trafficking, so that is also incorrect. We can say 1 and 2 are answer. Option A is your correct answer. Other than that, there are 6 bodies which has been given a formal status of international organization partners. That is BirdLife International, then IUCN, which you must remember, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, then IWMI, that is International Water Management Institution. Obviously, when we are talking about wetlands, wetland has water, and then this is logical that it can go for such partners. Then Wetland International, that is also logical. Then we have this World Wildlife Fund for Nature and Wildfall and the Wetland Trust. Okay, so these are 6 bodies which you can remember. These are basically formal international organization partner of Ramsar Convention. Okay, now next question, that is consider the following statement. First is fungi obtain nutrients through heterotrophic nutrition system. They are talking about fungi and heterotrophic. So basically, you must have seen that fungi are basically part of your decomposition cycles, etc. So that are not heterotrophic. Basically, they are saprophytic. Okay, so we can say that they have actually interchanged it. Okay, then amar bale obtains nutrients through the saprophytic system. So this is also incorrect because amar bale has a heterotrophic system. Heterotrophic system is basically a system wherein a particular plant is dependent on another plant. Okay, so we will see that in the next slide. In lichens, a symbiotic relation found between the fungus and algae. So this is a correct statement. Okay, first 2 are incorrect, and 3 is the only statement which is correct. So option B would be the right answer. Let's see the explanation over here. So B is the right answer. This is your amar bale. Okay, here you can see this particular structure which is wrapping around a stem. These are amar bales. So basically, for support and for the nutrients, they are dependent on this particular plant. Okay, so such system is called heterophytic system. Okay, heterophytic system. So that is when we are talking about amar bale, it is a heterophytic system. Okay, and then when we are talking about these fungi get their food from the dead and decomposing things. As I told you, these are part of decomposition cycle. Okay, hence they get food through the saprophyte nutrient system. Okay, so they have interchanged it. So these 2 things here are clear. Now, when we are talking about lichens, so lichens are organisms which are basically consist of symbiotic relations between fungi and algae, because algae provide you the by the means of photosynthesis, they can provide you the food. Okay, and these fungi are basically, they are providing these algae as a you can say a place to live or a habitat. Okay, so this is kind of a symbiotic relation between algae and fungi. So lichens are basically a symbiotic relation between fungi and algae, wherein algae gives the food and fungi give the habitat. Okay, so I hope this is clear. With that, I will give you a practice question for your own practice. You can attempt this question and answer in the comment box. So question is, which of the following statement is incorrect? A, the 7th 5-year plan was revolutionary change in the perspective of coastal and the river pollution. B, the aquatic food chain is phytoplanktons, small crustaceans, zooplanktons, predatory insects, small fish, large fish, kingfisher or crocodile. Okay, then C is aquatic plants are called hydrophytes, and parenchyma or parenchyma that stores air in them is called aerenchyma or aerenchyma. Okay, however you want to pronounce it. Due to this, these plants can easily survive in water. Last statement is, the highest incidence of chlorosis disease caused by the excess chloride is in Rajasthan and Gujarat. So you have to choose the incorrect statement and answer in the comment box. Okay, so with that, I would like to take your leave. So keep practicing, keep learning. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. And there are certain video episodes which are to be uploaded in the recent time, which will boost your prelims preparation.